Willy Wonka Whipple Scrumptious Fudgy Caramel is one of 3 coffee creamers we're taste testing today. The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last. Hello, food freaks, and welcome to That's Rank. You and I have been looking at coffee creamer since the start of the new year together, adding that fatty, sugary bliss to some of the world's worst coffee grounds this side of Burger King. Well, today, I've got a golden ticket because not only are we flashing back to 1971, but we've got 2 other amazing sounding coffee creamers to come along with us. And what are they? White Chocolate Raspberry from International Delight, Glazed Donut from CoffeeMate, and Willy Wonka's Whipple Scrumptious Fudgy Caramel from International Delight. I'm so ready for this. After all, a little nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest men. You know, it speaks volumes about the flavors that we've got going on today when the white chocolate raspberry is probably the least interesting of the 3. I'm pretty sure that this is on International Delight's permanent roster of creamers, although I think at its initial release point, it was a limited time holiday affair. And look, I ain't complaining. Raspberries are a summertime food. There's no reason to relegate this to December. Now, personally, I honestly believe that this has a real chance of being positioned to take over the top slot as my favorite creamer that we've tried so far. And point of reference, most cookies at Subway suck. However, they've got a white chocolate raspberry cookie that I would put up against anything that your grandma is churning out of the oven. It's literally the only thing at Subway that doesn't taste like Subway. And of course, you're probably wondering what our generic coffee of the day is. Well, I've still got a pile of these wildly expired donut shop unflavored coffee pods, so we'll continue to plow through these. I'm actually almost into non-expired coffee, and if we keep reviewing creamer, I kind of actually feel like that's unfair. Fresh and possibly good coffee? Like, how am I supposed to grade the healing powers of the creamer if all the coffee is actually good? I suppose I could always nab some instant Tim Hortons grounds or something like that, because even fresh, it's still instant trash. The raspberry smell in my coffee is actually quite pronounced, and it's a little weird. I don't like artificial strawberry, but I don't mind artificial raspberry. Honestly, don't try to figure me out. I'm a complicated man with complicated opinions. Wow, the raspberry flavor in here is actually super strong. If you like a decadent coffee, this might be the one for you right here. It almost tastes like somebody mixed some raspberry jam directly into the coffee, but without the seeds. And also without the weirdness of somebody putting jam into your coffee. Don't do that. So it actually overtakes the coffee flavor, and for that reason, I don't think I can actually rate it at the very top of my list. I do really like it though. I think this would go really nicely as a Sunday morning treat with a really good Nespresso brewed dark coffee. But it's also incredibly sweet, and it turns your breakfast almost into something naughty. And I get that I'm saying this as the guy who has Coffee Crisp literally rated as the very best creamer on the planet right now. Listen, I'm a big, inconsistent hypocrite. You know what you're in for. Kelly M gives this 5 stars and says, "Goodness gracious, this is so super mega delicious in your morning or even afternoon coffees. I highly suggest that you try this." Well, there you go. This is actually super versatile, operating in both morning and afternoon coffees. And good for this. I'm barely functional at any hour of the day. Meanwhile, Gigi is in full agreement, also dropping 5 stars. "I love this. I usually have to put a ton of creamer in my coffee, but with this, I only need a little bit. The flavor is so powerful, but in a good way." Fun fact, powerful flavor, but in a good way, used to be my online dating name. Okay, our second entry of the day is the world's smallest little bottle of creamer that's ever appeared on this channel. You know what? Let's give it up for the tiny bottle. Now, I'm baffled by this one because I truly don't understand what I'm supposed to be expecting here. Like, I know what a glazed donut tastes like, but I'm not sure anybody would necessarily look to put it in a coffee creamer. I'm trying not to preemptively cast judgment. I think I'd just be surprised if it tasted anything other than like a generic vanilla creamer. I admit, they got me with genuine curiosity on this one, so from that end, CoffeeMate, you win. I don't smell anything particularly descript, nothing that's given anything away anyway. Of course, maybe my brain is just short-circuited because I'm too thrown off by this. Like, literally the Willy Wonka Whipple Scrumptious Fudgy Caramel is less of a mystery to me than this one is. Hang on. Okay, so at first I was thinking it was a normal vanilla creamer, but it wasn't quite there. It's not as, I don't know what the right word is here, but you know how like a French vanilla has like a really vanilla beanie flavor to it? Well, this has less beans. If I could narrow it down to anything, I think maybe like a Betty Crocker frosting is where I'm landing on this. It's like a catch-all creamer. You could mix this with just about any coffee and be okay. If I was looking for a generic creamer, I think I'd still gravitate towards French vanilla because I prefer a beanier experience with my vanilla coffee. This just needs more beans in it. Everything needs more beans. Kaylin R. from Cridersville, Ohio gives this 2 stars. I was so excited about this, but ended up being totally disappointed. When smelling this creamer from the bottle, it does have a very light icing scent, but there's absolutely no flavor to this. It was also expensive for being such a small bottle. Will not be purchasing again. Meanwhile, Allison C is even harder on this, giving it just 1 star. Smells good, but tastes like oversweet creamer. I'd rather use half and half and honey. Not worth it. Honey in your coffee? That can't be real. I'm refusing to accept that that's real. Honey is a tea thing. And yes, I'm the same guy who drinks creamers that are flavored like pies and chocolate bars, and I'm taking issue with raw honey. And really, you should be too. This is not okay, and I'm not going to stand for it. Guys, let's be honest for a sec. This is why you're here. And frankly, this is the reason why any of us are here. I mean, today on planet Earth, we've waited our whole lives for Willy Wonka Whipple Scrumptious Fudgy Caramel to become a real thing. And now I'm just left waiting on the schnozberry. Now guys, let's be very clear with one another. Willy Wonka Whipple Scrumptious Fudgy Caramel didn't actually exist in the movie. The bar was called the Whipple Scrumptious Fudge Mellow Delight, but let's assume that over the last 50 years that maybe things have changed over at Wonka headquarters. Maybe Charlie started tinkering with the recipes after he took over for the old man. Or maybe the old formula was Grandpa Joe's favorite, so Wonka rightly changed it just to screw with him, because Grandpa Joe is a monster. The man literally laid his ass in bed for decades while the family around him can barely afford the firewood to keep the house warm. He's under the blankets just destroying Grandma Georgina with his never-ending cabbage soup-riddled Dutch ovens, pretending to be a crippled old man who can't lift a finger to help out. Then, suddenly a once-in-a-lifetime trip comes up to go see a chocolate factory, and this should be the moment that Charlie takes his long-suffering mother for a day off to relax and just eat some chocolate. But suddenly, Joe's bouncing around the room like he's run into a traveling faith healer, and after his never-ending crippled charade, he gets to go on the trip. Oh, and while he's there, he defiantly ignores Wonka's instructions not to screw around and gets his grandson drunk and almost kills the both of them. Grandpa Joe. It's got a very rich chocolatey smell to it, so I'm expecting some of the finest chocolate on the planet here. You know, Oompa Loompas know where to get the good stuff. They literally get paid in cocoa beans instead of money. I feel like that might be a violation of the labor code, but maybe he operates in a right-to-work state. I'm not sure that I like this. No, it's not great. Damn, I was so stoked for this one. It's just lacking in boldness here, and I think part of the problem is the marketing. It's just got such a powerful sounding name. You hear something like this, and I'm just instantly expecting this super rich, chocolatey caramel experience. You know, I was thinking I was on the cusp of making the mocha drink to end all mocha drinks. It's okay, it's fine, I just wouldn't get it again because it pales in comparison to so many other chocolate creamers that exist on the market. Like the white chocolate raspberry is one very recent example. You lose. Good day, sir. Now Haley's coming in a little viciously, giving this just 1 star. It does not taste like chocolate or caramel. It makes coffee taste like water. I do not recommend. Haley, if this is making your coffee taste like water, the issue, and I'm just speculating here, might be your weak-ass coffee. Has Vegas is also displeased, giving this just 1 star. Tastes like dirt. I don't mean bad, although it is, but like it actually tastes like dirt. Only tried this one because there was a delicious Hershey creamer that was discontinued for some unknown reason. And the other reviews are correct. It doesn't taste like chocolate or caramel. Unless you mix in potting soil. So if I'm following you correctly, this tastes like dirt until you mix in potting soil, at which point it then tastes like chocolate and caramel. Are we sure Has Vegas and Haley aren't the same person? Can we get an investigative team on that? Maybe Matt Pat can look into this week over on Food Theory. This was a disappointment. I guess she was a bad egg. But you know what? You're not a bad egg, so do make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you won't be rejected by society like Veruca Salt. Truly, it's everything that I ever want. And never forget what happened to the man who suddenly got everything that he ever wanted. He lived happily ever after.